refining of sphere isn't really very accurate. I'm not too concerned about that because I'm going to do Duochrome test. I'm not going to go through this test in a lot of detail because Dr. Russo did go through this test in a lot of detail, but I do want to just say, and this actually comes from my colleagues in Cameroon, a spectacular little trick that they do. If you don't have a computerized chart, if you don't have a red-green chart, one thing you can do is use your red-green lenses that are in your lens set. So we have a patient here, and we're going to say, is it better with the green or the red? This is the green, this is the red, and they say, yeah, it's much sharper with the red. So then we're going to add that sphere, we're going to add that plus 0.25 sphere to the patient's trial frame, just in the front of the trial frame, their right eye. Then we say, okay, now this is the red, this is the green, this is the red, this is the green, and they say the green is clearer now. We get this question a lot. How do I choose? If they say red one and they add in plus 0.25, now they see the green, which one do I choose? Ideally, they would say they're equal, but it's okay to leave the patient one step on the green. When we do JCC, it's actually a little bit easier for the patient to do the test if we leave them one step on the green. Ideally, though, you'd be like, this is red, this is green, and they say they look exactly the same. So then you know that you're at that perfect prescription and you're going to leave the power. Okay, so any questions before we move on? Which is better to show the patient, a line of letters or a single letter? I think it depends on the chart that you have. So if you have an electronic chart where you can actually minimize the letters, it's likely that you have Duochrome in there. So have a play around with your controller, because you will most likely have Duochrome. If you don't have a chart that can isolate the letters, then in that case you're going to just use the whole chart and you're going to direct them down to their best visual acuity if you're just doing the single lenses there. Okay, we had a few other questions there, but we're going to cover that in a moment. Okay, so now we're on to the astigmatism. This is the fun part. This is when we get to see the JCC. Okay, so you want to isolate one line if you can, and you want that line to be one step above their best visual acuity. Or if you can't, just point to that line and show them the line you want them to look at. Again, I'm not going to go over in great detail how cross-cylinder works. Please have a listen to Dr. Russo's lecture. She goes over it in far greater detail. What I do want to do is just show you how the JCC lens works. So we're going to refine axis, and Dr. Russo goes through this, but if your retinoscopy had a cell greater than 0.50 cell, then you're going to refine your axis first. So you're going to align the handle of the JCC with the cylinder lens. So you can see here, down here, this is the handle, this is where the cylinder, these are where the markings are on the cylinder lens. So if we go back, that's where the markings are. I'm going to align the handle so the dots, the red and white dots, are either side. You can see here in real life, you can't actually see exactly where the lines are just because it's a live photo. You can't see where the lines are, but you can. But trust me, it's either side of that cylinder there. So you're going to align your handle with the lines. So you can see here I've got a minus 125 cell in there. I'm going to align the handle, and I'm going to flip, and I'm going to say, which is clearer? I'm going to show you two lenses, and I want you to tell me which lens makes that line clearer and sharper. This is lens 1, this is lens 2. Sometimes I'll say I'll show you again. This is 1, this is 2. It's best to advise the patient that neither lens will be completely clear, but just ask which is best. Sometimes they'll say, oh, they're both really bad. So it just saves you some instructions later on. And you just want to flip your lens and see if we can get this, just like this, just twisting your handle. You're going to, I'm not going to go through this just for the sake of time. Dr. Russo went through this in very clear detail about which axis to follow, but you're going to, if they prefer the minus axis or the red dots, you're going to move in that direction until they say they put that the same. Then with power refinement, you want to line the dots that you have here. You want to, sorry, the lines on my JCC on this one. You want to align those with the power of the lens, so with the axis of the lens. So again, you can see that's your cylinder axis there, and then I'm going to place that lens so in this case, this JCC has dots. You can see in the live picture, this JCC has lines. You want to align those with the cylinder axis. So this is again our example before, and you're going to ask the patient which is best. This is 1, this is 2, this is 1, this is 2. If they say the red dots are a little bit clearer, you're going to add cylinder power, so that's more minus power to that meridian. If they say the white dots are clearer, you're going to add more, you're going to take away that cylinder power, so you're going to take away minus power from that meridian. If once they say they look about the same, then you know that you're finished. Again, I'm not going to go through this in a lot of detail. Dr. Russo did in her webinar, but you want to make sure you maintain spherical equivalent the entire time. So if you increase your cell, then you want to make sure that you're increasing your sphere as well. What happens if they say, if you do your retinoscopy and you don't have any cylinder to go off, if you think, I didn't see any astigmatism, it looked pretty spherical to me, what do you do? So this is what you do. So this is just their sphere lens, and I'm going to ask them which is clearer. This is 1, this is 1, this is 2. And you see that I've just flipped my lens from side to side, and I've essentially given them 2 options. Is it clearer at 45, where that red is at 45, or the red is at 35? So they say, option 2. Okay, great. Then I remember that they prefer that axis at 135. Now I'm going to show them, I'm going to orientate my JCC so it's aligned, so the power lines or the power dots are now at 90 and 180. And I'm going to say now, how about here? Is it clearer with lens 3 or lens 4? This is 3, this is 4. And they say option 3. So I think, okay, great. What I know is if they do have any astigmatism, it's somewhere between 135 and 180 degrees. So I take my 050 lens from here and I put it at about, I don't know, like somewhere in between, maybe 160 degrees. I put it at 160 degrees and I show them again with my power dots, is it better 1 or 2? If they say 2, then I'm going to go and do the whole JCC procedure, the whole cross-cylinder procedure, because there's obviously something there. If they say 1 though, which is the white dots, then I'm just going to take that 050 out and call it a sphere, say they have a spherical prescription. I could lower it down 025 if I'm really convinced there was something there. I could do that, but they're likely just to say that they prefer the white dots or the white lines there as well. Okay, I know JCC can be a little bit confusing. Any questions? In a child, how is this possible? It's not really. It's not possible. We're going to go through that in a second. If we have 2 different axes on autorefraction, which one do you choose? Just choose one of them. Yeah, just choose one of them and go from there. Your JCC will just keep correcting you and pushing you in the right direction of the meridian. So just choose one of them. It doesn't make any difference where your starting point is. It might mean, if you choose the wrong one, that your visual acuity is a little bit off, and that's fine. That's fine. That will all work out in the wash once you've done your JCC test. Okay, now we're going to get to that fogging aspect that we were talking about before. You're going to pop +1. So remember, this left eye is still occluded. You're going to pop that +1. You're going to warn the patient that it'll be blurry, otherwise they'll think you're an idiot and you have no idea what you're talking about. And if you just say, what do you see now? They're going to say, nothing, it's blurry. So tell them this is going to be a little bit blurry. vision you can see. Maybe they're reading the 2040 line. So what I do, and then just cover their eye. There's no need to put the occluder, just save some time, cover their eye and say,